Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for coming on to the meditation this morning, where, as we learned yesterday, that there is this illuminating light that is in our hearts. It never goes off. It's always on. The love light is always on, and it's shining on our whole being right now. Isn't that a nice idea? Isn't that a sweet something to just carry in your heart today, that the heart is just shining onto you, this beautiful, beautiful, soothing divine light. And then on Sacred Soul Sunday is a day of rest. It's a day of rest. And yesterday we talked about just resting as not trying, not overdoing, not thinking we have to transform ourselves today or anything like that. But I'll tell you one thing that is a real trickster. A real trickster is this thing called anxiety. It just seems to be impenetrably uh, deep in the human nature that, on Sunday we could be thinking of Monday and whatever we have to do on Monday, and tax season's coming up, and all, it's just endless. It's just endless. And can you imagine, though, if you decided today, on this day of rest, on this Sacred Soul Sunday, that you are going to not buy into that today, that you're going to just see how simple your mind could be in operating you today, or hopefully, if we stay for the soul talk after, we're going to learn all about how to really, really purify our emotions, because the emotions are the culprit, the emotions of that anxiety. So anyway, I'm just saying, how simple and free can you be today? You know, in your heart. Start there in your heart with your relationship with the divine, and also in your mind. Where the heart is, there the mind is also. So I'm just so happy that we would even consider these notions today, and that each of you keep coming back, coming back, coming back here. And I see a change in you. I see a change in you, oh Sarah, Miss Sarah. I do. Marty, I see a change in you. I do. Honestly, I swear I see a change in you. It's beautiful to behold. Lynn and Lulu's on, an old friend from the Soul of Yoga. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Um, she does therapy, for physical therapy, and not just physical therapy, but she's downloading light and love into her clients. Yeah, it's beautiful, Lulu. Wonderful to have you here, Cami. Wonderful to have you here, Lynn. Wonderful to have you here. I just know that this could be the happiest day of your incarnations today. I do. I do. Why not? Why wouldn't we consider that, even though maybe we woke up on the wrong side of the bed? Huh? Maybe we didn't sleep so good last night. Maybe there's this anxiety again can attack you at any time, anywhere. So I just want to start with a quote from Victor Hugo. You've heard of that guy, Victor Hugo? I think he wrote how you say it? Les Miserables. Yeah, yeah, Victor Hugo. And I love this because it definitely sounds like Rumi. There's a hint of Rumi in this quote. Can I read it to you now, and then we'll close our eyes? Or you can close your eyes now, because we're going to look at love today, and we're going to look at how we can sweeten our emotions today. So this is what he said. You who suffer because you love, you who suffer because you love still more. If you're one of those sensitive, um, uh, romantics, we can say, and every little thing about love, you're just so sensitized by it, and it means a world to you, but it may not mean a world to the next person, right? So you who suffer because you love still more. To die of love is to live by it. Simple, simple. You who suffer because you love still more. To die of love is to live by it. So with your eyes now can close if they were open. Let's just feel the feelings from even that. Remember, we're going to pick up the high point from yesterday. This is a continuation, my dears, a continuation of our awakening. Every time we come on this line, this zip line to the divine, this 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 place where we can find rest in the unmanifest. That is, meaning that beyond creation is our true home in the unmanifest. Can you imagine how quiet and peaceful and just beyond amazing that is? So let's just feel that we have just the memory of yesterday's stream, and if not, no big deal. But let's just tune into this beautiful heart of us, of ours, the one that can love so much that it hurts. But we now need to keep loving till it hurts no more. In fact, let's die to everything that isn't love. Let's die to anything that brings even a hint of that anxiety into our consciousness today, just today. Just today. Let's just do a day at a time. Anything that even hints at anxiety, let it go. Just let it dissolve. And let's start our breath work, our beautiful breath work, where your quiet mind and your beautiful open heart and your restful body and your immortal soul are just so happy to feed you the light in every breath, feed you your sustenance, the divine sustenance, the truth of you with every inhale breath. Oh my gosh, how sweet is that? It's really a sweet incarnation, my dears. And we chose one where the outward isn't going to say that at all. It may even be the opposite, but we have signed on to love so much that we not only transform ourselves from all the limitations of the ego, mind thinking, and etc., but we hold on to this precious moment, the most endearing moment you've ever had in this breath. Let's just feel that unity. Our unity in this little tribe represents the unity of our world. Coming soon to a heart near you is global harmony, global peace, global happiness, global abundance. Coming very soon in a heart like yours. Consider perhaps that your next breath is the beautiful, eternal life force of spirit. Never born, never can die, always is. The inhale is the life force. As it touches your heart, touches your cells, gives you life. The exhale could be the love force, the greatest reality imaginable, the love force operating this universe, living inside you and me and everything. In one breath, we have the eternal life force of spirit. Every exhale, the love force of the divine beloved, the lover of our souls. And I'll give you another little tip. Wish for love, joy, and happiness for your brothers and sisters meditating with you right now. Wish it for them, and you'll be pleasantly surprised how your love, joy, and happiness become stronger, more tangible. Let's listen to these words Eckhart told. He says, die before you die. Go into it deeply. And feel your physical form dissolving. Die before you die. Go into it deeply. Your physical form is dissolving, is no more, is no more. Then a moment comes when all mind forms or thoughts also die. Then a moment comes when all your mind forms or thoughts also die. Yet, yet, the divine presence that you are becomes you, radiant, fully awake. And you realize nothing that was real ever dies. What dies are the names, forms, and illusions. Your physical form is dissolving, is no more. And a moment comes when all mind forms or thoughts also die. Yet you are still there with the divine presence that you are. And yet you are still there with the divine presence that you are, radiant, fully awake. Nothing that is real dies. Only names, forms, thoughts, and illusions. They die. In these closing moments of meditation, let's set the stage and the tone for today. How does an anxiety-free, worry-free day sound to you? Anxiety-free, worry-free. Even the future free, the past free. And you feel a glee, a joy, a simplicity that you haven't felt in a long, long time. Just leaving the world alone for one day on the sacred Sabbath. Just one day. And that moment comes where you dissolve into that radiant, always happy, always joyful, always loving, always free self. Let's spend a few more moments in stillness, setting the stage for such a consciousness for today. Oh, great spirit, for oh, such a day, we wish we were a runaway from the suffering, from the pain, from the illusion, delusion, from our own constant anxiety, worries, and fear. For oh, such a day, we wish we were a runaway from all that isn't us, so that we can simply be who we really are. We thank you that this is so. We thank you that you have given us this moment, this meditation, to feel your presence. O Great Spirit, teach our hearts to pray. Teach our souls to feel that at any moment all doors may open and thy presence be revealed. We thank you that it is so. Om Shanti Shanti. Amen. Let's let's be celebrating each other as you maybe open your eyes, my dears, and come back into the real. Come back into the real. Your pure state of consciousness right now, as best as you could have it. Yeah. Oh, Such a Day was actually a little poem by Yogananda in his Songs of Soul, his first writings when he came to America in 1925 or 1920. He wrote a book. He started the fellowship in 25. But he wrote a poem talked about, oh, for such a day, I wish I was a runaway from bills and all this. And he listed a whole bunch of stuff that we deal with every day, every day. But for oh, such a day, let us have, let us have, you know, the real meaning of life today, the real purpose of our existence today, and get an inkling of that and how graced we are, how protected we are, how loved we are, how energized we are, that we cannot die, and we are so so in love with love, as love is in love with us, and that's all that we can or want to hold in our hearts until the mind actually surrenders. As Yogananda said, cloister your mind in your heart. Mm, cloister it. You can be a nun today if you want to, ladies, and I can be that monk guy again today. Yeah, if I just cloister my mind, cloister my desires, cloister all the anxiety that still wants to pop in, even on Sundays, it never stops, right? That I can enjoy a true day resting in myself, capital S, resting that everything is just super okay. Everybody is going to have their day in the light one of these days. And it's up to their soul in waking them up when that is going to happen. So this is our just a little soul talk. I'm not going to keep you all for very long this morning, but I do want to share something. And if you want to hear an amazing uh, a podcast that I picked up these words from, it is the best thing I've heard on why our emotions can really put us in the dumps, and at the same time how we can overcome that and have a heart that goes the opposite way. That heart that is just shiny, radiant, like we talked about yesterday, shining light on all our limitations, all our everything, all the time. And that goes for everybody in the world. So, if that sounds like a good idea, I also have something to share, but we'll save it for next time. The best article ever on the rise of the divine feminine in today's world. Yeah, yeah. And how important, and then it lists all the things that we guys need to get busy doing. Maybe not doing, maybe being more and more and more and more, because that balance, that perfect equilibrium of the divine masculine and the divine feminine, the wisdom and the love. Ooh, the wisdom that, not the intellect, not the logic, not the reasoning, but the pure wisdom that can happen for both women and men, and that pure love can happen for both women and men. That perfect balance of wisdom and love, love and wisdom. Yeah, so we have that. We'll have that for maybe next week if I can hold off from it. But now I would like to read you a little bit of this article that I just mentioned. It's called Awakening on the Level of Emotion Frees Us from Fear-Based Fixations. Ooh, fear-based fixations? If we can awaken to the pure level of emotion, take the E off, or it's devotion. Emotion turn devotion is a magic potion. How's that? Emotion turn devotion is the magic potion. I say that. The more we experience unconditional love, which is one of the deepest callings of human life, the more we awaken at this level. The more we experience unconditional love is one of the deepest callings of human life. So, how do emotions hold together the illusion of our separate self? Is this first little paragraph. How do emotions lie at the very core of our illusion and delusions? So that we feel separate, we don't feel connected, we feel alone or lonely, we feel like what we're going through is almost can't survive it. What is that? It says here, when you probe the depths of this experience of your emotions, when they go off kilter, all right, when they go off track, when we explode, when we resent, when we just say, no, man, this is the worst thing that could ever happen to us, you find that fear acts as a silent hinge upon which this entire constructed identity swings. Fear is at the base. Yeah, fear. And you know what, an acronym in the AA program that I like so much about fear? One of them, they have lots of them, but I like this one. Fear, F, forgetting, E, everything, A, all, and then FEAL, right. Forgetting everything's all right. Forgetting everything's all right. Yeah, is an acronym they use for fear. I love that, right? We often live with an internal picture of who we are: fragile, limited, and seemingly vulnerable. Because we believe this image to be fundamentally real, we tremble at the thought that it could be harmed by an unkind word. You know, us sensitive lovers, if it's an unkind word, sometimes we feel like, oh my God, right? One unkind word, right? We tremble at the thought it could be harmed we can be harmed by an unkind word, an unexpected event, or even a fleeting feeling that we can just get boom, sideswiped. Yeah. This belief that we are something solid and separate, something that can be hurt, is what makes the world appear dangerous. Wow. This belief that we are something solid and separate, something that can be hurt, is what makes the world appear dangerous. So they're just getting at the bottom of what it's like, to have this emotional upsets and all the things that we struggle with daily, even after years and years and years and years and lifetimes of trying to learn the lesson here, right? Yet, if we look closely, this self-image, this idea that we are isolated being, is a story we tell ourselves. So this is all self-inflicted. If you're having a bad day today, just say, hey, come on, little soul, give me some help here, right? Because this ego is not making my day so bright. after a meditation, and I was feeling so good, and all of a sudden, boom, I get sideswiped. It's because we feel isolated. It's a story we tell ourselves. It's not an immutable truth, but rather a persistent illusion. Mm, yeah. Like a mirage that shimmers in the desert heat. It looks real until we question it. In truth, no fixed entity stands behind the curtain of our thoughts and feelings. There's no thing behind our thoughts and feelings, right? And then Ramana Maharshi reminds us all that is required to realize the self is to be still, to be still. I hope you have some moments you can have a little seat somewhere or just wherever is a nice little place for you, backyard or walking your dog or something. You sit down. And my dogs love to sit in nature, and I get a little meditation in at the same time. They just seem to just love it, right? So there's lots of little opportunities to be still today, my dears. This stillness is what allows us to look at the mind's noisy projections and see them for what they are, thoughts and sensations dancing without a true dancer. Right? Kind of good. It's a good article, isn't it? Isn't it a good article? If you want this later, I can email it to you or text it to you. So a little more on just the nature of the emotion, so we get a good idea. Notice how emotions and thoughts work together. Emotions and thoughts, right? You know how your emotion triggers your thoughts and how your thoughts trigger the emotions. They work together to create this seemingly solid me. Like I'm a solid. I'm an entity of some kind when really my body is just a hologram, right? Our minds generate countless notions, some known to us, others moving beneath the surface, and these notions crystallize into feelings within the body. Imagine the mind as a painter and the body as its canvas. Every subtle thought leaves a brushstroke of sensation. With these sensations blend together, they give rise to what we call emotions. At first glance, we believe these emotions to be distinct forces acting upon us, yet they are merely the body's echo of the mind's assumptions. Oh, well, I know there's a lot here. I know there's a lot here, but it's all true. And from my point of view, when these sensations blend together, they give rise to what we call emotions. At first glance, we believe these emotions to be distinct forces acting upon us, yet they are merely the body's echo of the mind's assumptions. This is why non-dual teachings often say that the body and mind are two sides of a single coin, not separate at all, but intimately interwoven aspects of one unified experience. That's why we sometimes now, lately, we've been saying that our mind and our heart and our breath is so tied together. It's so tied together in a beneficial way when we just ask for help from the divine, right? When we really become humble enough to know that we need help 24/7 from the divine. If we really, really, really want to wake up, that's part of it, is allowing the source to do what it wants to do. Help us to wake up, help us to come back to who we are and to whose we are, right? So from this perspective, that intimately interwoven aspects of one unified experience of the mind and the heart. From this perspective, fear, anxiety, anger, and insecurity are not enemies. They are the body mind's faithful messengers announcing that we have once again fallen under the spell of separation. I got a spell on you, and it's the spell of separation. That you're separate from the whole thing. Everything you look at today, you might feel separate from. You know it's there, but you might feel separate from it, versus this practice of just feeling it's all spirit hiding in everything, disguised as everything that you see. So, our body mind faithful messengers announcing that we have once again fallen under the spell of separation. They whisper, "Be careful, you are alone and you must defend yourself." You are alone and you must defend yourself, right? You're a defender of yourself. Be careful. And they're urging us to remain on guard. But when we question this conclusion, when we ask, who is this I that believes it can be attacked? We begin to see through the illusion. This inquiry can be paradoxical and disoriented because we discover no solid self at the center of experience without a separate self to protect fear losing its foothold. You know, I've never done a Sunday Soul Talk and read so much. But I just thought I just want to get to the good part now. Here it is. As the veil lifts, yay, as the veil lifts, we recognize that we are not an isolated fragment attempting to navigate a hostile universe. Instead, we come to see that we are life itself. This is the good part, my dears. Just sit back and let it absorb into your beingness, right? We come to see that we are life itself, inseparable from its unfolding. To awaken at the emotional level means to realize that the whole defensive structure we have constructed is unnecessary. Maybe go out in your backyard and have a little funeral for all of this stuff that we've conceptualized and made a structure, a solid brick structure, so to speak, in our life. There's no me to be endangered. There's no me to be endangered because life can never harm life itself. This realization, not merely conceptual, it transforms how we feel, perceive, and relate to the world. The legendary Zen teacher Yang Po said, the real exists, the unreal does not exist. Once you awaken, you will clearly see that there is not a single thing to rely on in this outer world. Not a single thing to rely on in this outer world. Boy, are we getting the abject lesson on that right now. Aren't we? Aren't we, Sarah? You feel that? So, in other words, the story of me as a separate individual dissolves. That's right along the lines of what we heard from Eckhart this morning, right? That the story of me as a separate individual dissolves, leaving only the pure beingness that has always been here. So when our emotional body awakens, it becomes an exquisitely sensitive instrument. When our emotional body awakens, it becomes an exquisitely sensitive instrument. I call heartstrings. I call it heartstrings. Like if you're a guitar player and you have you bring out your guitar to play for the day, you tune up those strings. So we go about our day, we're not even aware that we have this attunement to make in our heart center, right? That we have heartstrings and they're easily go out of tune. They easily go out of tune. So that's kind of what they're saying here. Instead of reinforcing the illusion of separation, emotions now serve as delicate currents through which life knows itself. Wow. So we could tune in. We could tune into the music of the spheres. We can tune in to what someone is thinking. We can tune in to the nature of some things that we thought were just an inanimate object, but we can see beneath it and feel that there is lightrons going off there. All kinds of stuff when we have our heartstrings attuned. Life will know itself. You, as the self, will know yourself and everything that is the oneness in the self. This is what some traditions call the opening of the spiritual heart. The opening of your spiritual heart. See, this will be a good audio to listen back to, right? You can listen many times and you'll get the meaning of this. So I hope that you're grokking enough to just keep you interested in what we're saying, because everything that is really important in a pragmatic way is right in this writing here. This is what some traditions call the opening of the spiritual heart. It is often depicted in sacred imagery, such as Christ revealing a radiant heart, a symbol of complete vulnerability and openness. The awakened heart is not concerned with personal preference. When we stop taking things personally, we really grow fast, right? So it has this spiritual heart is not concerned with personal preferences. Wow. It seems like the world is really concerned about personal preferences right now, right? The awakened heart is not concerned, though. Likes and dislikes, not concerned. It is not about loving this person, but not that one, or embracing one circumstance and rejecting another. It moves into a love that is fundamentally unconditional, since it no longer filters reality through a lens of me and mine. This love is the natural state of an unguarded heart, an indiscriminative lover of what is. There's some really good lines here. Wow, did you get that? It no longer filters reality through the lens of me and mine. This love in its natural state is unguarded. God, look at how in a conversation today that you can't believe almost anybody. You can't believe anything actually in today's world, right? So we're guarded as heck. We're guarded, but a healthy heart is unguarded. It's unguarded because we know that everyone's going through what they need to go through in their struggle to wake up as a divine being after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, right? So we don't have that guard on. This love is a natural state of an unguarded heart, an indiscriminate love, lover of what is. That's the good old you who suffer because you love still more. The diet of love is to live by it. That's exactly what that just said. The love is in the natural state of an unguarded heart, an indiscriminate lover of what is. You're not discriminating. You just love. You don't think about it. You just love. That's it. All right? We're almost there, kids. Hope in this awakened state, the heart recognizes that all forms, events, and beings are variations of itself. It is as if reality, having shed its disguises, begins to love itself. Wow, wow. It is as if reality, having shed its disguises, begins to love itself through every meeting, every encounter. Wow. The veil being pulled apart. A lot of these podcasters are talking about the veil is getting thinner nowadays, my dears. It's getting thinner. And we can get through these disguises and begin to realize love itself is in every meeting, every encounter. Lao Tzu hinted at this unity when he said, "The world and I arise together at once. I am whatever exists." The world and I arise together. Imagine getting up in the morning and you're the world, right? You rise together and you realize that I am whatever exists. You are everything. We are everything. Wow, that takes all the onus off, doesn't it? We are everything and everything is love. Isn't this beautiful, though? Wow. This reflects the non dual understanding that there are not multiple separate entities, but one essence dancing as all appearances. So there's one dancer, the divine dancer, as all appearances. One divine dancer. Yeah. The awakened heart does not divide the world into friend and foe, beauty and ugliness. It simply loves everything as a mirror of its own true nature. This unconditional love is not a sentimental feeling reserved for a chosen few. It is the most natural expression of a heart that has let go of fear, identity, and false separation. Are you ready to bury those today? Actually, you don't have to even think about them. Just stay on course, my dears. Stay in the heart. Stay in that mind that's being cloistered in your heart, and you'll be just fine today. So it will automatically let go of fear, identity, and false separation, that heart, when it's awakened. Even those who challenge us, who do not align with our personal likes, are embraced in the same vastness of being. Ooh, Sarah. Now you're talking to someone with a red hat, and all of a sudden you realize, oh my God, they they are don't mind me. It's awful hard not to kind of know what's going on a little bit, at least in this outer world, right? Yeah, yeah. So even those who challenge us, who do not align with our personal likes, are embraced. They're embraced. They're embraced in the same vastness of being. They're embraced by the authenticity of us, the integrity of us, the truthness of us. And we don't have to say anything. We don't have to say anything. We don't want to get in a conversation anyway, probably, right? This is not because we force ourselves to be kind or noble, but because the heart recognizes itself in every form. The heart, your heart, my heart recognizes itself in every form. In the words of the Maharaj, love says, I am everything, or I am that. I am everything. So we're almost to the end of this little writing on the emotional body. Ultimately, as we awaken from the illusion of the separate self and fear's grip loosens, a profound simplicity emerges. I started off today talking about simplicity. Just simple, simple. You don't have anxiety about tomorrow. You don't have a worry that something isn't getting done. You don't have all those things that usually can just ruin our Sunday and Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, right? All those things. You awaken from the illusion of the separate self and the fear grip loosens. A profound simplicity emerges. This is important, my dears. I think I'm going to do a rampage on going through all my things coming up here soon and get rid of the things that I don't need and just simplify, simplify, simplify. I think Thoreau said that. Walden Pond guy, Thoreau. Simplicity, simplicity, simplicity. So, so once we have this profound simplicity emerging, there is only this. Are you ready to hear what this is? And unbounded wholeness freely expressing itself. An unbounded wholeness freely expressing itself. You are whole. You are complete. You are one with the one. And it's starting to express itself, an unbounded wholeness. That means there's no limitation to it. There's an eternity and on and on and on. There's no end to eternity, right? An unbounded wholeness really expresses itself. The heart, fully open, ceases to defend and begins to delight in the seamless unity that has always been. What has always been, sir? Yeah, what a long, long adventure this has been, right? Isn't it? Yeah, what a long adventure that we have been on, my dears, to come to the conclusion that everything is profound simplicity and that we will discover unbounded wholeness freely expressing itself. The heart fully open ceases to defend and begins to delight in the seamless unity that has always been. And in this realization, emotions no longer bind us to a false sense of isolation. That's kind of what's happening. Everything's getting isolated and divided, right? Broken up into many, many parts, down to the detail. But the opposite is true, my dears. Let's see where I was. Yeah, the heart fully open ceases to defend and begins to delight in the seamless unity that has always been. We have always been, and we always will be. Yeah, we're forever. And in this realization, finally, emotions no longer bind us to a false sense that we are isolated, that I am struggling, that I still don't meditate that well, and all those things. That's just isolation consciousness. Instead, you know what our emotions become? They become subtle flavors. You'll like this line, everybody, if you're still with me. Our emotions become subtle flavors. So they're not gross flavors, they're subtle flavors of the grand feast of existence. There's a lot of nuggets in this little writing, I'll tell you. Yeah, that's why I wanted to read it to you. You have it in one full shot. No longer bind us to a false sense of isolation. Instead, our emotions become subtle flavors in this grand feast of existence. In your simplicity today, Lynn Adams, is a day that you're going to have absolutely a feast on the wholeness of you, a feast of joy, a feast of finally feeling, more centered, more not alone, but connected, a feeling of amazing connectedness, right? With the source of you. OMG. What a day. Look at the kitty. The kitty knows what we're talking about. All right, we're almost there to the end of this sentence. Breaking it up pretty good. It becomes our emotions, subtle flavors in this grand feast of existence forever. Forever. Can you imagine now your emotions forever reminding us that we are and always have been the one infinite reality, loving itself in all its forms. I'll just read that to end this article. Our emotions become subtle flavors in this grand feast of existence that we're all going to feel today, forever reminding us that we are and always have been. We are and always have been. I am and I always will be. We can make that a little mantra. Let's just close our eyes for a moment. I am and I always will be. I am and I always will be the one infinite reality. The one infinite reality. I am, and I always will be the one infinite reality, loving itself in all its forms. Let's just close our eyes for a moment, dears. Thank you if you're still here. Thank you if you hear it later. Thank you if you don't hear it later or aren't here. You are still here. You still are that abounding wholeness of your true beingness and a healthy emotional body, a heart that is a sacred heart because you are a sacred soul. You live in a sacred existence. And we are finally getting it through the grace of God and our own sincerity and our own willingness to put it all on the line, to put our life on the love line to the divine. Oh, Heavenly Father and Divine Mother, friend, beloved God, Jesus Christ, Bhagavan Krishna, all the saints and sages of all religions, we thank you for your blessings this morning. We are so grateful that somehow, some way, beyond our knowing, that you are guiding us exactly, precisely, unconditionally on the path best suited for each of us, individually and collectively. We are so grateful that we now have more trust in you. We are so grateful that we are can surrender more easily our ridiculousness and our obsession thinking this outer world is real. We thank you that as these barriers lift, or shall we say, dissolve back into you, O Spirit of love, O Mother of light, O Soul of eternity, we now know that you are real and this world is unreal. That you are the doer, we are not the doer. That you are our first love, always love. So right now, we give you a bouquet of our united love, our united hearts, simple souls that gather together out of the blue of Divine Mother's grace this morning to hear what we heard, to love whatever showed up for us this morning, and to finally be whole, that nothing is wrong or broken about us, that this world is not broken, that is all absolutely just a passing cloud, a dream experience. And thank you, oh beloved of our hearts, thank you for waking us all up and our world up. And so be it. All right, we had our first Sacred Soul Sunday, Soul Talk or Soul, whatever you want to call it, my dears. And I'm so glad you were here. I'm so glad you were here. What, Sarah, did you lose me for a moment or something? Did you lose volume? Can you all hear me? Is anyone still on the line? Let me know who's still on, if anybody's still on. What, Sarah? You look perplexed. What? Asked to unmute.
I hit a button or the cat hit a button and lost it, you know. And so I lost the video and I realized her hind end was right up against the camera. And this isn't exactly the way I wanted to say goodbye.
Oh,
Uh, but Tom, would it be possible to send that article or at least reference the author and the title name so we could find it? I would find it really helpful to have that in writing if possible. I don't want
yeah.
to make it
I'll send it to you, and I think all will be there. I'll just clip
okay.
it. I'll just clip it because I have it on my cell phone, and I'll
Okay.
send it on over. I'll send it to your email. How's that?
Great. Thank you. Perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah.
I just like it for reference, you know?
Well, it's the best. It's the best that I've seen on emotion. It really is. To me, for me. I'm
Sure.
talking from my standpoint that it really goes into why we are caught in that lower vibration of emotional stuff, and then also how we can get out of it and have this beautiful heart that just is radiating, right? So that's beautiful, Sarah. I'll get it to you. Lynn Adams, you good? Are you good to go, darling? Are you? Thank you so much. Every second and minute you are on this line is emitting joy and light to our world. I'll say it again, yet again, is emitting volumes of love and light to our world, because that's your intention for being here, right? Remember, we started with the global meditation, inner and outer world peace. Remember? For 3 months. 3 months. Yeah, that's when you all still going. You're still going strong. So that's beautiful. Yeah. So if no one else has something to say, thank you for this Sunday. I'm pretty drunk. Yeah, yeah, I'm pretty drunk, you know? Yeah. So thank you for that and have a beautiful rest of your day. And if you need this, Lynn, just let me know. I'll send it to you too if you want it. Yeah. Okay. All right. Much love, everybody. Thank you. Have a glorious, glorious Sunday. I know you will because you are gloriful. Gloriful? Yeah. I made up the word. Gloriful. All right. Much love. Namaste.